When you start selling lots of records, your lives change considerably. Your schedules change, the places that you sleep change. You've gone on the B&Bs and the dusty old vans, and in come the, you know, first-class flights, and it's rather lovely, but it's very difficult as well. Did you find it hard to get your head around being famous faces?
I don't think that anyone will ever adjust to getting your head around that, to being famous, to being a celebrity, because it's not really a natural thing, is it? You know, it's not really natural. It's kind of like an illusion, and I think it'd be very dangerous to start believing the whole propaganda of the thing. So I think that's the one thing about being family, that we do, you know, we help to keep each other down to earth, I think. But the attention is kind of a little bit hard to take. It's unusual, but you do get used to it, and it is, you know, the fact that your lives are under microscopic scrutiny is very strange, and I think at the end of the day, you know, people are probably surprised to realise that, you know, our lives are really, at the end of the day, no different than anybody else's. I mean, when we go home, when we've time off, we do exactly the same things that everybody else does, you know.
When your day is long and the night is yours alone, when you think you've had enough of this life, hang on. Don't let yourself go, 'cause everybody cries.
Fame, I think, is a very strange thing. I mean, it's something, I think, as a defense mechanism, you can't conceive it, that it's actually happening to you. And so I never feel like that person, and neither does the rest of the band. And I think that is so that you'd maintain your sanity, because I think if you really felt that you were that known or whatever, you might hide, you know, because it's not a very natural existence. So I think that's a side of it that is an incidental part of having successful music and being performers and a band and everything like that, but you really can't focus on it yourself, because that plays with the head. That's dodgy stuff, dodgy territory.
You're irresistible.
Did you find it strange, Caroline, the amount of interest people showed in the way the band looked? I mean, suddenly it was like, whoa, instead of core.
Cool, yeah.
And you know, you must have felt very uncomfortable with that, because you are first and foremost, and they've never pretended to be anything other than musicians.
Yeah. I think when you get three girls together, three sisters as well, you know, especially with the girls, they, not to say Jim, they're gorgeous too.
Yeah, Jim.
I didn't know you cared.
But I think there is a tension on that, and you know, as women are going to get that kind of attention. It was, you know, guys not as, you know, much, but yeah, it was kind of strange for us, because to us we were just, you know, playing in a band and we were doing music, and of course it helps. You know, for camera and all that thing. If you do look good, I mean, of course it's going to help your career, and we've never felt, you know, inhibited by it or anything like that. But there, you know, sometimes it can overshadow the music. There are times where the focus could have been, you know, can be at certain, somebody might focus in on that and kind of overshadow a little bit. But, you know, really and truly, at the end of the day, you know, it's the music that comes through, I think, you know, and that's what we'd hope for.
At the end of 1998, I mean, you really were at your career peak to date. You had rounded off the year as the biggest selling album artist in the UK. and you were able to go home for a year, albeit to work on your third album. That must have been an amazing feeling after almost 8 years on the road.
It was. I mean, it was long overdue, though. I mean, it was to go home was just really, really long overdue, and but to go home on such a high was an absolutely wonderful thing. But actually, after we won the Brits and the Best Album, I think we actually went out to America and did some promos. We didn't actually quite go home straight after that. But when we did finally get to do the album in Ireland, that was a tremendous relief and just like a well-needed kind of break from the life we'd had, because we had been plugging away at this for 8 years solid at that stage. And even when we were recording the last album, and every time we toured, we also promoted. So it was like an endless turntable of non-stop work. So it was great just to focus on the album and also have a bit of a social life and see your friends and just do really normal things for a year.
And you moved into your very first home, didn't you, Andrea?
Yeah.
Your own, a place to call your own, which must have been so welcome after such a nomadic existence.
Yeah, because I mean, I do sometimes feel like a weirdo because I never, just because sometimes, and then other times because I didn't like have a life where I left school and went to college and left the family and was staying in a flat or an apartment or staying on my own in any way. So to do that for the first time in my life at 25 was fantastic, and I get such a blast out of having my own home. And you know, I think we all do, though. The thing is that your freedom and your personal life is there, and that's and it's so cute.
What was your state of mind when you sat down to start recording In Blue?
I think it would just, when you achieve a certain level of success, which we had, it was almost like a certain amount of the pressure was off. And we knew from recording Talking Corners that we didn't want to be in a pressured situation again, because Talking Corners was the second album. I think there's more pressure with the second album than there is with the third album, because the second album has to top the first one, and if it fails, you'll probably never be seen again. But the third one, you know, you've already kind of proved yourself twice at that stage, hopefully, as we had done. So we were just very natural about the whole experience, and just writing came so easily. It was incredible, and almost every song we wrote is on the album.
Go on, leave me breathless.
Breathless is certainly a bigger sound for you guys, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and it's without the help of Mutt Lang, we mightn't have necessarily taken a song in that direction. And it's like what we keep hearing is that, you know, it's just so it's in your face, you know, and it's just wonderful the way that turned out. And that was purely, we always wanted to work with Mutt Lang, but it was purely through meeting him at a party in the park.
I went out to Switzerland, and that's where he lives, and so we started it in a house, and then we needed a change of scenery, and it's so beautiful that we went into a forest, kind of like a foresty area. It kind of sounds funny now, this story. I kind of wish I hadn't said it before, but you know, woo. And it was a beautiful day, and wrote some of it there, him just with his guitar.
The last two albums are very Irish in their sound. I would say this one sounds less Irish.
Do you think so?
Yeah, which is bizarre.
Well,
Considering
we
the
didn't want
roots.
to repeat the same thing again in terms of having the Irish traditional music interweaving between songs. We want to try and be different every time, but in every song that we write, we try and include the traditional Irish element. But sometimes it just doesn't work. We do try. If it doesn't work, we're not going to put it in.
It did take 5 years to get a record deal. A lot of bands before they get a record deal think the record deal is the ultimate thing, but it really is only the beginning. It is the first stepping stone, and it's the smallest stepping stone to get over, because from there on in you literally have to sell your music door to door, country to country, and that's the way it works. I mean, we basically travelled the globe and just worked.
This is a special day for all of us.
Wow. See, they're bullying after 10 years.
We're thrilled to have you as part of our family, and we'd like to help you celebrate your 10 years together by presenting you with this beautiful plaque in recognition of 10 million sales in Europe.
Wow.
That's great.
That is brilliant.
10 years, 10 million. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we had a dream. Our manager had a dream, and I think we've exceeded our own expectations of where it would take us. We've had many fantastic moments. We chose to dedicate this album to our mother, Jean, who unfortunately passed away about 5 months ago. She died of an incurable lung disease, and she herself and Daddy were very much a part of what we have become and who we are, both musically and personality-wise. And she was our greatest fan.